Hi everyone. Today I want to show you how to access your on-prem SQL database from Azure. Uh, as you can see on the screen, I've got a diagram. It helps you better to understand how this works from architectural perspective. Uh, Assume you've got an on-prem SQL database and you want to use its data in a logic app, but you can have any other resources on Azure like function app or whatever. For accessing your database from Azure, you need two different resources, one on-prem environment and another one on cloud environment. So as you see in the diagram, you need to install on-prem data gateway on a machine on your network to access your on-prem database. And on the Azure side, you need to configure on-prem data gateway resource. And then using that data gateway resource, you can access your database or even other on-prem resources, which is supported by on-prem data gateway. Let's quickly have a look how it works. But before getting to that, let's just search for install Azure on-prem data gateway. And look at the Microsoft document here. If you want to see a step-by-step instruction for installing on-prem data gateway, you can look at this document, and it gives you a step-by-step tutorial about installing the on-prem data gateway and then configuring that on the Azure side. But what we can do here, we can quickly install the on-prem data gateway and configure it on Azure, so you can save some time by watching this video. But as a first step, what you need to do is downloading the on-prem data gateway installer, which is here in this link in on-prem data gateway documentation. And you can download the exe file from this link. Once it's downloaded, you can just double click that. First screen, accept the terms and condition, install, yes. I don't want to spend too much time on installing this because all the steps been explained completely in the Microsoft document. So just quickly install the gateway. The two important things about installing and configuring gateway is the first one is in future step in the on-prem data gateway installation, it asks for your credential to log into Azure, and at this step you need to use an account, and bear in mind that you need to use the same account when you want to configure your gateway resource on Azure. That's the first important point. The next one is if you are installing your on-prem data gateway in a specific region, let's say Australia East in this case, then you need to use the same region for configuring the data gateway on Azure resource as well. This is two important things. If you forget or ignore these two steps, definitely you can't configure your data gateway properly. So that's the step I talked about it. It's asking for email address. I enter my email address. And if you click sign in, The sign into Azure dialog box pops up, and you need to log in with an account. So this is the account I've created earlier for logging into Data Gateway. It's started with DG for Data Gateway, and I just select that account to put your password in here. Click sign in. Next step asking, are you registering a new gateway on this computer? Select yes, and then next. And you need to put in a name for that. Say demo data gateway. And you need to enter a recovery key. If anything happens to your data gateway and you want to reinstall it or you want to recover it, you need to know what this gateway recovery key is. So I just enter something here. You need to confirm that. And here we'll use this region to connect the gateway to cloud services. It's set to Australia East. So I'm happy with this region, but if you want to change the region, you can click on the change region and then select your desired region here. And bear in mind, as I mentioned earlier, you need to log in with the same account that we use, the DG account, to Azure portal, and then set up the Azure Data Gateway resource in Australia East. Otherwise, it won't come up in the list of the gateway. I'll show you that in a bit. So let's click on configure. Here you go, the gateway, demo data gateway is online and ready to be used. We are done with the installation of the on-prem data gateway agent. What we need to do is configuring the data gateway resource on Azure as well. So go to the portal. I've logged in with DG account, data gateway account, the account that I've used to set up the on-prem agent. Yeah, click on add and data gateway. Select on-prem data gateway. Click on create. You need to enter a name for that. Say demo data gateway. Select your subscription. Select the resource group that you want to create this data gateway in, and you need to pick up a region here. As you see, the Australia East is selected here, so the on-prem agent is coming up here. Demo data gateway. If I select a different region, say Australia Southeast, you see no instance found message is displayed, and we can't configure our data gateway resource on Azure. So we just need to configure it in the same region. Select the demo data gateway here and click create. Okay, the gateway is created now. Go here to the resource group. It will show up here after deployment. If I click go to resource, it shows you that the gateway is configured and online. So next step is accessing your SQL database from here, from Azure. But before that, if I go to my SQL Server Management Studio, I've created a sample database, a test database, and added a table there, the person table, and added two dummy records here. It's just a given name and surname. So what we want to do, we want to create a logic app and fetch this table's data on the Azure side. So if we go back to Azure, click on Marketplace, put in logic app here, choose logic app, click on create, select your subscription, the resource group that you want to create your logic app here. This is the logic app name. I want to call it Data Gateway Demo. And I want to create it in Australia East. Press on review and create. It's creating a blank logic app for us. Okay, go to resource, goes to the logic app designer, select the blank logic app. This is a logic app graphical user interface designer. You can design your logic app using this tool, or you can use ARM template for provisioning your logic app. It's up to you. But for demo purposes here, what we are doing is using the graphical designer. Each logic app has a trigger and a couple of different actions. For a trigger here, we just want to select the HTTP request trigger when a HTTP request is received, and add a new step, and then select SQL Server, and then we select get rows. In the authentication type, we select Windows authentication, and we need to give a name for the connection. So it tries to create a connection between a logic app and your database. So let's put it here, SQL connection. As you can see here, you've got a bunch of fields that you need to fill in. In the gateway, connection gateway, you see your gateway name. So you select the gateway name here. For the SQL Server name, you need to put in your server name. So if I go to the SQL Server Management Studio, this is my server name, desktop and ggvt6tv. That's our SQL Server name. Back here, copy that there. What's the SQL database name? It's test. What's the username and password? Maybe this is a bit confusing when you are looking into the document. It depends if you are testing this data gateway on your local machine and you just want to test it, like what I want to do, and I'll show you later. You can grab a user from existing user and use it. But if it's a production version, you want to use this in a real environment, you need to create a service account in Azure Active Directory and join your server to the Active Directory and then log in using that user. But for demo purposes, what I would do, I go here. If you look at the security section in your database, in the user section, for all databases, definitely you've got the DBO user. So if I double click on DBO, it tells you what is the login name for that DBO user. So that's the Windows user or the login name, which is used for Windows authentication to access this database in this server. So what I need to do is just copying this and put it here, and just need to enter my password for this user here as well. And click on create. There you go. The connection is created. Now we can fetch data from on-prem SQL database. So, okay, it's asking what's the server name. You can pick that up from the drop-down list. What's the database name? You can pick it up from here. What's the table name? Again, it's populated here in the drop-down. Select table name and say I want to have top 5 record from this table. As we have only 2 records, you should be able to see that 2 records, the dummy record that I've created earlier. So just save that. And we can press on run. Perfect. Run was successful. And if we check the result, in the result section, we've got Adam Smith with ID 1 and Andrew Barrett with ID 2. And these data coming from this person table, this one, as we saw earlier. And using on-prem data gateway agent and on-prem data gateway resource on Azure, we are able to access on-prem databases and a couple of other different on-prem resources like BizDoc server or etc. You can have a complete list of them in Microsoft documentation. So just quickly show you in the resource group. Now we have a data gateway resource. Go back to the diagram. This is this resource. And we've got a logic app and its connection to the data gateway. And on the on-prem side, we've got this on-prem data gateway agent, which is this one. And then these 2 components communicate to each other and pull data from on-prem SQL database and serve it to different Azure resources. And in this demo, it was a logic app. Thanks for watching this video. Hopefully it helps you to configure your data gateway quickly and properly. one more time again, just bear in mind to use the same service account or same account when you are configuring your data gateway agent and data gateway resource on the Azure, as well as the region that you are configuring that. In next video, I'll show you how you can provision the connection, I mean the SQL connection. We have it here using ARM template, so you can automate your process using ARM template rather than doing that manually. Thank you guys.